Welcome to the 62nd Annual Veterans Day Celebration, brought to you today by Yellow Medicine East Schools and Fagen Fighters WWIII Museum. Our job is to provide opportunities for students to understand what happened. Me being a former history teacher myself, and I was just talking with a veteran today, is you don't understand history, you don't really understand the importance of things like Veterans Day until you get older.
Let's bow our heads in prayer. Heavenly Father, you are our strength and our shield. Today we give thanks for the devotion and courage of all those who have offered themselves in military service for us and for our country. Lord, on our behalf, many have entered into danger, endured separations from those they love, labored long hours, and borne hardship in war and in peacetime. In recognition of their loyal service to our nation, bless them with wholeness and love, shelter them, heal their wounds, comfort their hearts, grant them peace. Bless them abundantly for the hardships they faced and for the sacrifices they made. We especially lift up to you those who are at war now. Encourage and heal those in hospitals or mending their wounds at home. Guard those in any need or trouble. Hold safely in your hand all military families, and bring the returning troops back to a joyful reunion and a tranquil life at home. Protect them and their families from loneliness and want. May the dedication and honor of these men and women be remembered as a blessing from generation to generation. We hold them always in our love and our prayers until your world is perfected in peace and all wars cease and you come again as the Prince of Peace.
When you have the bomber in the hangar and you have the artifacts here, now the stories that are told or they're learning in the classroom are real. When you have the Jeep and everything there, it is real for them to connect.
It is the sum of the whole that drives victory. I know that in the darkest hour, the man to my left or the woman to my right will have my back, because I have theirs. One word that I would use to describe this statement, and it's a word that is often used throughout a military career, is camaraderie. Camaraderie is defined by a mutual trust and friendship among people who spend a lot of time together. But in my opinion, I would push that definition a little bit farther on everything that I went through during my 2 tours. It's something that everyone can understand, veteran, civilian alike, and that would be family. Most can appreciate that not every family member agrees with each other, but that does not change the fact of the matter. If something happens, we're all in it together, and we're all in it till the end. So, from the bottom of my heart to every veteran that is here, welcome home.
I think the only thing we can do is expose them to experiences like this, and hopefully someday as they get older or like today we had them all stand up and be recognized, as they're seeing people in our community, that they will now recognize the service that they've done.
Richard Chilsis, United States Army, 1 year of service during World War II.
I want to read you something that I came across in the Foot Locker of my uncle Stanley Christensen and why I've been asked to speak today. It comes from Allied Headquarters, Special Order of the Day, 1945, April. The war would end in May of 1945. There was a month left. Final victory is near. The German forces are now groggy and only need one mighty punch to knock them out for good. The moment has now come for us to take the field for the last battle which will end the war in Europe. You know what our comrades in the West and in the East are doing on the battlefields. It's now our turn to play our decisive part. It will not be a walkover. A mortally wounded beast can still be very dangerous. You must be prepared for a hard and bitter fight. The end is quite certain. There is not the slightest shadow of a doubt about that. You, who have won every battle you have fought, are going to win this last one. Forward, then, into battle with confidence, faith, and determination to see it through to the end. Godspeed, and good luck to all of you. H.R. Alexander, Field Marshal, Supreme Allied Commander of the Mediterranean Theater. The war would last one more month, and thousands would be injured and killed. One of those soldiers was a man named Stanley Christensen, my uncle. I found this in his footlocker after he had died. He was part of the 492nd Bomber Group of the mighty 8th Air Force. The 492nd Bomber Group has the distinction of being called the Hard Luck Group. From June to August of 1944, during a period of 89 days, they flew 67 missions and had the highest casualty rate of any bomber group in the war. I don't know any of this because of him telling me. After he died, I went to his footlocker and found his personnel folder. Battle stars, battle stars, battle stars, oak leaf cluster, 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 unit citations, air medal. He served. He sacrificed. For what? That we might be free. Now, I know when we hear the word freedom, and maybe some of the younger folks here might think that really what service is about in military service is that we can live free and maybe free to do whatever we want. But I would say that that's not right. You see, when my uncle came home from the war, he didn't live however he wanted to and run around living, doing all kinds of whatever he wanted to, kind of like we might think of freedom. You know what he did? He worked hard. He sacrificed, and he served in this community.
We talk a lot about this generation, and I know generation is about 20 to 30 years, but in my job, it's every 13 years is a school generation. We turn them over. Kids continue to do the right thing. They know what is right.
I'd like to, at this time, please welcome Rory Shackelford and Natalie LeBlanc to the podium, as they will be reading together a combination of both of their essays under the title, "You Serve for Me." Thank you.
Thank you for sacrificing the most important things in life, like watching your kids grow up.
Thank you for giving your heart and soul for the defense of the nation. Thank you for coming home to the people who care about you.
Thank you for fighting in war when things got bad. Thank you to the veterans who were injured in war. Even though you knew the sacrifices, you still went to war. Thank you for every day that you spent on your toes. Thank you for everything you had to do that you didn't want to do, that you want to forget. Thank you for doing the things you can't tell your families about.
Thank you for being there when there was no one else. Thank you for being willing to serve the long-term consequences of defending freedom. Thank you for being tough.
And thank you for doing it when you could have chose not to. You served for me. Thank you.
The feedback I've got from veterans is it didn't matter if you were the first person through the receiving line or the last person through, the handshakes were the same. You know, I have a picture of my father-in-law who's now 83 as a young man going down to Arkansas to go off to be a coder. And you're just like, wow, can you imagine as he was going through it right after the Great Depression of what they had to grow up and hear his stories, and then here he is. As we were talking to Veterans Day, he found his draft letter. And he came up, chest out, and he threw it up on the wall. He took down a picture and threw it up there, and it sat there for 2 years. He said, this was a big part of my life. It was probably the best program they've ever seen. The connection, the intention was right. I think we have an event today that hopefully for the kids started that journey to understand the impact of people who in our community that serve for us. I mean, my job was just to bring the kids out and hopefully give them a good experience. And I think we succeeded today.